everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to talk about my favorite subject, history. So I've always loved history. It was my favorite subject in school, and it was the hardest curriculum pick for me for my daughter because I was just so fussy and I knew I wanted to try and instill my love of history in my kids. So I wanted to let you know what we've ended up doing for history in third grade. We're just about to finish third grade in the next couple of weeks, and what we will be continuing to do into fourth grade. So when I say I'm a history nerd, I really mean I'm a nerd. A couple of weeks ago, my daughter was at Awana and my son was asleep. And my friend texted me, she was like, "Oh, what are you doing with your evening?" I was like, "I'm watching a documentary on the Cold War." She was like, "Oh, that sounds relaxing." It was for me. I just love learning about history and I find it all so interesting, and I just kind of want to learn everything that I can. And so for our curriculum this year, we started the Mystery of History. If you don't know anything about this curriculum, it is fantastic. There are so many options for what you can do with this. I'll let you know what we did, but also what other options there are. So this is a 4-volume history curriculum. We are currently halfway through. We just reached the halfway point of volume 1. And so there are 4 volumes, and this is Creation to Resurrection. One of the reasons I love this curriculum, actually my main reason for loving this curriculum, is it combines biblical history with world history. And so where as a Christian family, I want my daughter to understand biblical history and church history, but I also want her to understand world history in general and how the two timelines fit together. And so this is amazing for this. So it talks about biblical history, it has creation, it has Noah and the flood, the Tower of Babel, but it also has this history of the Sumerians, it talks about early Egypt, it talks about Stonehenge, it talks about China and the Shang dynasty, and it basically shows you how these different parts of the world, what was happening in each different part of the world at the time of the biblical timeline. So in the front of your textbook, if you choose this curriculum, you get an access code that gives you a companion guide. Now this is a digital companion guide that came free with the purchase of this textbook from the Mystery of History website. And in there are activities for younger students and older students. There are map activities. So if you wanted to incorporate geography into the history, you could do that. There are so many activities. There's a way to get an audio book of this. So if you're not wanting to read this out loud to your student, or you're just wanting to supplement this in, you could listen to it in the car on an audio book. You can also build a timeline. So we have not been doing a lot of the activities from the companion guide. I had grand plans of doing them, but my daughter really just wanted to do the read aloud, and she just wanted to talk about it and build the timeline. And so we actually purchased a timeline separate from Mystery of History. There's actually a few mum blogs that you can look at that sell timelines that you can print off and color. And so as you go, you're visually seeing the timeline that you are reading about. And we love Mystery of History. It is very well written, very conversational. It is not boring at all. The chapters are not long. They're around 2 or 3 pages. So my daughter is 9 and it is not too long. She often asks for more. She's like, "Let's read another one. Let's read another one." And so we've been loving going through Mystery of History, and we'll be starting the 2nd volume halfway through now. So probably the end of this calendar year, about halfway through 4th grade, we will start volume 2. The other history that we are doing, because we're doing 2, is Generations. Now I've talked about Generations a ton on this channel. I am a fangirl of Generations. I absolutely love them. And we are doing the history series here, starting in, this was the 1st grade. This is the story of Jesus people. I'm going to try and not drop them. And these are just church history stories from all over the world, and they get longer and a little bit more complicated as you go up in levels. So this is level 1, and then level 2 is taking the Middle East for Jesus. So these are stories from church history from the Middle East. We are currently about a quarter of the way through taking the Americas for Jesus. So this is stories from North, Central, and South America. Level 4 is going to be taking Asia for Jesus. So church history from Asia. Level 5 is Africa, and the last level 6 is Europe. One of the things I absolutely love about these is, first off, the illustrations are absolutely stunning. Let me show you a couple of the illustrations from what we just read. We just read about William Bradford. And so you have these beautiful paintings and these beautiful photos strewn throughout. You have scripture throughout. And another thing I love is that it tells all of the details about history. It doesn't miss out all of the complicated stories of history. It includes the flaws of some of the people in history that have done good and some of them that have done bad things. And some people that are a mixture of good and bad. It's giving you a really, really good balanced view of the history. And so the last thing that we use for history, and it's not a textbook, it's just an added thing that we sometimes do, is we will watch something called Drive Through History. There are a couple of free episodes on YouTube and also on Right Now Media. We are probably going to take the plunge and get the subscription so we can get all the episodes. But Dave Stotts, he presents Drive Through History. He's really engaging, really funny. He has a whole series called Bible Backroads where he goes to all the places in the Bible and shows you where they happened and talks about what happens in scripture and shows you the places where it happened. And it's really, really cool. He also has a whole series on American history, which we have not seen yet. And it's one of the reasons why I'm super tempted by the subscription. So that's what we've been doing for history, just a lot of reading out loud. We've been doing our timeline and discussing it. And that's been our history curriculum so far. And I think we're going to carry on with it next year. I hope this video was helpful. Please comment below if you have any questions about anything that I've talked about in this video. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe. I would love to have you follow me. And I have a lot more videos on my channel, so feel free to check it out.